Hi, Shari and Remi.
Hi.
Hi.
How's it going?
Pretty
Good.
good. Pretty good.
Finally get a chance to actually spend some time with you. It's been a few months since we last talked, so I thank you for your patience and I appreciate you having you on my podcast today. So yeah, introductions. Let's just start with you guys and telling your story. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Sherry. I'm from Germany and we are currently in Crooked Creek, Alberta. And beside me is.
And I'm Remy. So I'm from France. And yeah, right now we're in Alberta and working for our sled dog business here.
Wow, that's incredible. So yeah, tell me a little bit about the background and how you got into Wild Forest Adventures, and then we'll go into your actual business. So I love the story that you told me. I mean, my mouth dropped several times. It was just amazing. So yeah, please start. How did you end up here in Canada?
I'm gonna start because we both have kind of a crazy but different story.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I'm from Germany, and after high school, I wanted to travel Canada from west to east for a year. And I did work and traveling. While my second job, I ended up here with Don Cousins, who runs sled dogs. He's a competitive musher, and he's been doing that for like 40 years now, I think. And it just so worked out that Don and I, despite our age difference, became best friends because he's 70 now.
Wow.
And yeah, instead of keep going east, I just spent my whole year here with the sled dogs, and I just fell in love with the lifestyle. And when I did have to go back home, I went back to university, and it just worked out that every time I had my spring break, it was racing season in Canada. So I kept coming back every year and helped Don race. Got to race a little bit myself. I took one of his sled dogs back home to Germany with me. And
Really?
yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
So you like hauled the dog back on the plane and oh wow.
Yeah, and
Wow.
actually his name is Forrest. He came back and forth to Canada with me like 7 times. So he's a
world traveler.
very well traveler.
Yeah. Right on. Oh my gosh. So when you first arrived in Canada to travel, how far did you get? How much of Canada did you see before you actually stopped in Alberta?
I landed in Vancouver. I went to Vancouver Island, and then my next stop was Alberta already.
Oh, okay.
But
That was
I
really
did,
short.
yeah, but I did travel the East Coast with my parents when I was 8. So
Oh,
I do
nice.
have some memories of that, but I would definitely like to go back because I was just a kid, and I think I would appreciate
Yeah.
it even more now.
More. I agree. Wow, that's great. Holy
But then to be
cow.
fair, when we go racing with the dogs, we went all the way to Manitoba, Saskatchewan to race, and then we went up the Alaska Highway to Alaska. So I did get to see quite a bit of stuff
Canada,
with the
yeah.
dogs. Yeah.
Wow, that's so amazing. So you must be really well versed in dog sledding, I guess it's yeah. Wow, that's really amazing. Wow. So I guess Remy, your story's up next.
Yeah, so that was a little different for me because yeah, so in 2018 I left France with one of my friend Max and my dog, and we both grabbed a backpack and decided to take a plane from France to land in St. John's, Newfoundland in the middle of winter. That was December 15th, you know.
Oh
So
my gosh.
yeah, that was a crazy idea at the
Yeah.
time. We were prepared for the cold, but not that prepared. So we experienced a lot. And our plan was to go across Canada by walking as far as we could. You know, our plan was to reach Tuktoyaktuk to go up north to the Arctic Ocean.
Wow.
Yeah. So the first
Wow.
winter, we bought a couple of snowshoes and we snowshoed all across Newfoundland, 900 kilometers. Took us about 2 months. Then we took the ferry to Nova Scotia. Then we crossed Cape Breton. Then we went to New Brunswick, and in New Brunswick it's starting to melt. So we like left our snowshoes and started walking. So all New Brunswick arrived in Gaspesia, then went down the Saint Laurent in Quebec, down to Niagara Falls, then
Wow.
Owen Sound. So we were on the shore of the Huron Lake, and it was summer, so it was super nice. So we
Oh.
decided to sell our snowshoes and buy a canoe, and we
Oh,
started
wow.
paddling. Yeah,
Wow, that's
yeah. So we
amazing.
paddled the shore of the Huron Lake from Owen Sound, Old Manitoulin Island to reach Sault Ste. Marie. And then we kept going after that on the Superior Lake, Sault Ste. Marie to Thunder Bay. And then in Thunder Bay, well, winter reached again because Canada in the winter, it's kind of a thing. You know, it's September, was already cold. And
Wow.
so we started biking. And so we biked across Manitoba to Winnipeg. And then when it snowed really hard, we sold our bicycles and bought cross-country skis. And we cross-country skied to Saskatchewan. And that's where my journey ended with COVID. With my friend, we kind of got stuck because we couldn't cross provinces anymore.
Yeah.
So we kind of got stopped in Saskatchewan, and so destiny wanted that we stopped at a musher place, and so we spent like a winter with that person, and that's where I met Shari. She was there at the time for a winter to help somebody, so we stopped in Saskatchewan, and that's where we met. And then after that, so she told me about Don and a sled dog, so that's how we kind of kept traveling a little bit and ended up in Alberta.
Finally, yeah. Wow. I want to ask you a question about when you were doing this tour. Did you sleep in tents in the winter, or how did you?
Yeah, we slept in tent all the time, so we had like pretty good sleeping bag, and we tried to get as good as equipment for sleeping at night as we could. So we had like -40 sleeping bag and everything.
Oh, wow.
I never felt in danger, you know, at any point because of the cold. You know, we were just walking during the day and planting the tent at night and sleeping and then walking again, you know, just meeting like crazy people and discovering so much, you know, the landscape, the wildlife, everything. It was just crazy.
Kudos on you. So so talking about danger, did you encounter any wildlife in your travels?
Wildlife? No, you know, we were walking and we had my dog Mata. It was a pretty small dog, but good enough to make enough noise. So we like saw a couple of moose from far away. We met like bear cubs, but never had like close encounter where we would be scared. I think the closest we had was a skunk roaming around the tent at night.
Oh no,
that's no fun.
Oh my gosh. So here you are now, you're both in Alberta. And continue with that story together if you guys want to share.
Well, what happened is we came back to Alberta in 2020. We spent about 3 months here. That was during COVID, right? And then our visas ran out and we wanted to set things right. So we had to go back to Europe. Well, I was still finishing university, so we didn't really have a choice but to go to Germany, and Remi doesn't speak a word of German, so that was quite interesting for him. Like I always say, he had the same conversation, well, because he picked up a little bit, so he had the same conversation with my grandma every time I had her on the phone, which is, hi, how are you? Good, how are you? Thanks. So that's what they do back and forth. And we spend
about a year and a half.
And we didn't want to be there because we were stuck in a tiny apartment with our 3 dogs when we really wanted to be here in the wild and open country. And it was a little miserable at times. But
that was a rough year and a half, but really worth it. So we set things right, got our working permit all in order, and came back to finally start living what's our dream now, you know. And it's,
because like amazing. I said, so Don and I are really, really good friends, and he's just an amazing person because he offered us to work for him. He used to own a boarding kennel that he closed down a few years ago. So he reopened the boarding kennel, and a lot of people over the years have asked him to do sled dog tours, but because Don likes going fast, he never did. And so he got us to start doing tours for people with the dogs, and that's how Wild Forest Adventures developed.
Oh my gosh, that's really amazing. So when did you get started on Wild Forest Adventures? Like when did it start actually running on?
We came back in September, and so we renovated all the boarding kennel and the facilities that we had around. So we basically started having people at Wild Forest Adventure for the boarding kennel in October, and we started touring in December.
Last year.
Oh, that's good. Oh, wow. So you basically, when you came back to Canada, it was still kind of in the pandemic. So you were just it was that time for you to get ready for for
Yeah.
actually operating the business. Wow, that's
Yeah.
great. And how has it been so far? Is it have you gotten a lot of, I'm assuming a lot of tourists from, especially out of country?
Yeah, we got quite a bit of tours. The boarding kennel took off a little slower than we hoped, but now it's really picking up. And the tours, the sled dog tours, there's only one other competitor around here. So he has a little bit of an advantage, obviously, because people know him already. But because Don is really well connected in the community, we got quite a few people just from that.
Oh,
And we
that's
did
great.
try to be present, you know, in like community events. We went to like a Santa parade with the dogs.
Oh,
Yeah.
right on.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great. So, let's talk about your dogs. Yeah, you mentioned there's a misconception, the public has about how the dogs are treated in your business. Can you expand on that?
Yeah, I think I can
Go ahead.
So there is basically two things that we always tell people when they come here, that something that people think about differently than we do.
Yeah.
And that's not even a negative thing here is we don't run Siberian Huskies. We don't run dogs that look like, Balto or whatever you see on Disney movies.
Yeah.
Because the original sled dog of Canada is not a Siberian Husky. They're called Alaskan Huskies, and if you would see them on the street, you wouldn't think that it's a Husky.
Yeah.
So that's something that a lot of people are very surprised about. And the other thing is that Don doesn't run like the Iditarod or the Yukon Quest. We're not distance mushers. When we race sprint races, which are a lot shorter, but also a lot faster because I like the speed.
Yeah.
So our tour team still goes faster than Iditarod team would go. Although we do slow them down so that people are comfortable. So those are two things that people just don't know about and we like to educate about. Now to the more negative misconceptions are what people have heard or read in certain sources about how sled dogs are treated in general. And now we can't speak for everybody because, we know what we're doing, but for us, it's just important for people to realize that we do not force the dogs to run. And everybody that has been here and seen us hook up a team of dogs would never say something like that because you just kind of joy and excitement they show at the start. You can't, you can't fake that. Yeah.
It's really something to see. And I think that's usually the easiest way for people to realize that we don't force our dog to run. It's to actually see them running, see the excitement at the start, already when they're puppies, right now we got a puppy who is like, not even like 2 months old, and you see the excitement when they see the other dogs running, and that's all he wants to do is run,
Yeah, for sure. Oh my gosh, that's really special. Well, and you both are dog owners, so that's obviously something important there because then that tells me that you obviously love dogs, right?
Yeah, and well, a lot of things like our dogs. So in the dog yard, when Don is there, Don also got some dogs. So when the dog yard is full, we got about 54 dogs all together. So each and every one of them get a really different personality. We don't see them as dog or as working tools anymore. They all get a name, they all get their spot, they all greet you differently when you come in their circle. There's just something special, I wouldn't see myself hurting any of my dog. If they don't want to run, usually they end up in the house with us and they finish eating bacon and getting fat. That's just what it is, They don't want to run.
Yeah, and they just give us so much. They're not like a bicycle that you put in the garage when you're done working with it. Right?
Yeah.
We spend like hours out there every day feeding and cleaning and just cuddling with them. They all know when we scoop poop, that's the time to socialize. So they all get really excited about that. Some of them will jump on their house and just snuggle right in. And they're all like, they all have their own personality and they all get treated accordingly. And we love our dogs, and that's why we would also never mistreat them.
Yeah, for sure. Wow. And I'm just thinking, it's good that they have that group because it not only does it keep them social in that setting, but when they actually meet clients, they're able to be social with them too. So that's really fantastic.
Yeah, and sled dogs really are amongst the most friendly dogs you'll ever meet. Like they're good with kids, they're good with grannies, anything in between. Yeah.
They,
Yeah.
they see so much and they need to get used to so much when we go to races or when
Yeah.
like our trail, for example, goes along the road and it's the highway 43. So there's quite a bit
Oh,
of passing, there's a
yeah.
lot of trucks and stuff like that. We can't
Yeah.
have dogs get spooked or anything. So they're just,
Yeah.
Yeah, because
going
at the
along.
beginning of the season, the truckers started honking their horns when they saw us
Oh,
going on the highway. So at the
that's
start,
cute.
the dogs were just so surprised, but
Yeah.
now I think they kind of enjoy it even.
You get used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's so special. So I noticed on your website too that not only do you take care of the dogs really well, but you have an environmental aspect of your business. Can you please expand on that? Because there's Earth Day month coming up, or Earth Day actually coming up in April here this month. So yeah, please
Yeah.
expand on that.
Yeah, sure. So, well, for us, I think that's also an important part. So, my former job when I was still in Europe, I was a hiking guide. And my job was really to educate people and sensibilize them about protecting environment because, well, at home, when I speak at home in Europe, we do have like really limited and restricted natural area. And when I arrive here, it's very like it's so wide and it's so big. And I really want to remind that to Canadians, when they're coming here, just to show them how lucky, they are
Yeah.
to have so much preserved wilderness and wildlife and forest. So it's just a great tool being on the sled and taking people in those Alberta northern forests, where everything is preserved, where it's
Mhm.
quiet. Seeing wildlife is like
Uh-huh.
it's not a rare thing. You just go so quiet
Yeah.
with the dog in the woods. It's just a great moment and easy to remind people first off how lucky they are and that there is
Mhm.
good way, to preserve that and keep that going.
Yes, I think that's very important, this day and age with climate change. Wow, like kudos to
You
you
know,
for that.
yeah, we're pretty lucky. We're using like a non-motorized transportation in the winter.
Yeah.
12 dogs can carry you anywhere.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna
And
have to
then,
come up and visit you guys.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, and then the other fact is that we coexist with all the animals out there. They don't bug us. We don't bug them very much. So
Mhm.
even now, when we go out in the summer, we got one dog, a Kangal, who's specifically that breed is for protecting against bears, but it also protects the bears so that we don't have to engage with them.
Yeah, in
You
any
know,
ways,
yeah.
we don't want to disturb what's already in place back there. We do see wolves in the winter, we do see moose, but we let everybody do their own business and they never bug us.
Oh, that's so lovely. Oh my gosh, I love it. Wow. So, tell me more about the business now, besides the dog. Like, what else do you do? What else does Wild Forest Adventures offer?
So we take people out for sled dog rides, and that always includes, educating about what exactly it is we do, how we feed, how we take care of the dogs, how you actually hook up. Because I think that's something that I love. I like getting people passionate about my passion, and I just love running dogs. It's so much fun. And I think more people should try it out, because what people don't realize is you don't need 50 dogs in your backyard to do it. You can do it with 2 dogs, and it doesn't have to be a husky either. It can be any kind of dog. Because
I
back
didn't
home
know
in
that.
Europe, it's getting pretty big that people take any kind of dog, just one dog in front of the bike or running with them. And because we don't have a lot of snow, they'll they'll do it all year round on wheels.
Wow.
So this is something that we're definitely want to expand on too. And then, yeah, we do take people out on the sled, and we also offer for people to drive their own team. So you're not just a passive passenger, we actually get to experience how cool it is when you're in control. Yeah.
Wow. Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah,
So, go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, I would say the part with the sled dog is pretty important. So during the summer, doing a little what we call bike joring, having the bike and the dog. In the winter, Shari used to do quite a bit of ski joring. So you're on cross-country skis and you're pulled by dogs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a completely different, but for people who like cross-country skiing, it's pretty fun and it's really interesting. You can feel the power. It's hard too.
I tried Remi on it, and he I don't know, he ditched it like 7 times on the first mile, and then the dog gave up on him. The dog was like, no.
I can't turn corner with cross country skis, so that was kind of tricky for me.
My gosh, that's too funny.
Yeah.
So I guess you know, spring's here, summer's coming up. You know, what are your plans for Wild Forest Adventures?
Well, so we're trying to keep the part of our boarding kennel running. That's an important part that we try to offer that to most people. Like summer holidays are gonna come right now. There is Easter and everybody. So everybody who is taking on the road, they can drop their dog here, and we get the boarding kennels for them. So it's
Oh,
a pretty
nice.
cool feature, yeah,
Yeah.
of the business.
And what
Mhm.
we try to expand there too is sort of an obedience aspect that people can bring their dogs. We have 2 clients right now who have a little bit of trouble with their dogs, and we can, you know, help out with that. It's not that we're trained obedience trainers of any sort, but we've both worked with dogs for so many years now.
Mm-hmm.
You just learn a lot by, you know,
By-
observing a pack of 50
Yeah.
dogs, and
Yeah.
yeah. So that's a big
Wow.
thing. And then we're also working on, well, right now we applied for funding through Travel Alberta, actually, so we have to see if that goes through or not. But if it
Oh,
does, then we'll be able to build a cart and actually offer summer tours for people who don't like the cold, or
yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
just want to see it in a little different light.
Oh my gosh, that would be awesome. I wish you luck on that. Wow.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Holy dude.
That couple of feedbacks, you know, people who say, well, I really like sled dogs, but you know, when it's minus 25, not everybody want to spend 2 hours outside and stuff like that, which is completely understandable. So yeah, we're trying to develop that for this summer. And and our in the future, we had a couple of feedbacks from people who said that they would like to have like an overnight opportunity experience, you know.
It's a
So
great
yeah,
idea.
so that's completely something that we're trying to work out for. Probably not next winter, but the winters to come.
Yeah.
We'd be able to drive people with the sled in the wilderness, have them spending the nights in the wood and driving them back the second day or 3 days later, you know, being able to,
Oh,
yeah.
that
Yeah.
is, oh, those are all fantastic initiatives coming up. Wow, that's very
Got
exciting.
ideas,
Yeah.
that's for sure.
Yeah. Good on you too. Well, thank you so much. But before we finish this session, I want to ask you to, you can answer separately or together, what matters to you?
Well, I think we both agree that what's mattered to us, and right now in our life, it's as simple as the dogs in general.
Mhm.
Our dogs, they're our family. They make us happy all the time. Like when you come home and you get one dog who is waiting for you, well, imagine that we get the same with 50 dogs who are waiting for us every day. And
Oh.
it's a well of joy, you know, every time they see us. And I think that's what matters for us right now. It's make our dogs as happy as we can, because they are making us extremely happy all the time.
There's a lot of love there I can see. Oh,
Yeah.
that's so special. Thank you so much, Shari and Remi. I really appreciate this. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Well,
you for having us.
yeah, thank you so much. That was a pleasure.